if they re-elect him again tonight, which looks like it's going to happen, that is an amazing statement because they know everything about Trump now, and yet they've still decided to re-elect him.
Let's bring in Times Radio's Andrew Neil, who joins us live from New York City. Andrew, good morning from us and good evening to you.
Good morning.
Good to catch up. So then, Trump is, well, there's a chance he's going to sweep all 7 swing states, according to some expectations from the New York Times.
Well, I told you 3 hours ago that the evening had started well. Some people didn't believe me.
Yeah.
But I did say...
We believed you, Andrew. We always believe you.
I told you the evening had started well for Trump. Indeed, I told you the evening had started better for Trump than even Trump's supporters thought, because they were pretty gloomy this afternoon, and whereas the Harris campaign was upbeat. But it started well, as I explained 3 hours ago, better than the Trump people thought. It was a bit of a worry for Harris, and it's continued to go well for him since we spoke 3 hours ago. The momentum everywhere has been with Trump. It looks pretty likely he'll take Georgia. It looks pretty likely he'll take North Carolina. So that leaves the 3 Rust Belt states, swing states in the north, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. Harris has to win these now to win the election. And Trump is in ahead at the moment. It's not definitive yet, but he's ahead in 2 out of the 3. So it's looking good for him there as well. And an indication, though, it doesn't change the election result, but an indication of how bad a night it's been for Harris is Virginia. Now, Virginia used to be a swing state. It was previously a red state as a southern state. It then became more of a purple state. It's now a blue state. But she's struggling to hold on to it. She will, I think, hold on to Virginia, but maybe by only 1 or 2 points. And that shows how her campaign has not gelled, even in states that she's expected to win. Whereas Ohio, which used to be a swing state and is now more a Republican state, Trump has won that comfortably. So everywhere you look, although the result is not over yet, and we do wait for the 3 Rust Belt states, everywhere you look, this has been a bad night for Harris. And we're now on the brink. One has to draw one's breath to say this, that not only is Mr. Trump now favorite to be the next president of the United States, and even the New York Times prediction is that he is now clearly the favorite to be the next president, but the Republicans now look almost certain to control the Senate and will probably hold on to the House, which means, and of course, there's essentially, I put it crudely, a Republican majority in the Supreme Court. So we could be on the brink of a clean sweep for the Republicans.
Yeah, gosh, it is really fascinating, all of that context. And the way, I think, where and with whom Donald Trump is winning is going to be a huge source of concern for the Democrats going forward from here, with Latino groups, with black voters, with women in some parts as well. It is really fascinating. Andrew, do stay with us. I want to bring in Tom Newton-Dunn, who joins us from North Carolina, one of these swing states that we've been keeping a close eye on. Tom, welcome to the programme. Really good to speak to you. Just put us into put North Carolina into context. There is suggestions that it's very close to being called for Trump.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was called for Trump reasonably soon. Sorry about the noise here. This is the Democrats' watch party here in Raleigh, the capital of North Carolina. They were celebrating the election of a Democrat governor. He beat a chap called Mark Robinson, who was labeled himself the Black Nazi, close Trump ally, engulfed in a terrible scandal with a load of pornographic website posts that he made. So they were celebrating here an hour or two ago. People are looking pretty flat now. They're looking pretty miserable because the numbers are coming in now all over the state. A lot of the state has declared, just looking at the official election board website now, with something like 88% of the whole of the state now in. Donald Trump has a lead of about 150,000. He's up by 50.5% versus Harris's 47.9%. That sounds close, but there really aren't that many votes left to count. There's a few coming in from Raleigh, the main capital, and a few from Durham. But it's looking now very tight for Harris.
Yeah, and well, I think just as you're speaking, Tom, the Times website calls North Carolina for Trump. So does the New York Times website calling North Carolina for Trump as well. So 16 electoral votes, one of the crucial swing states, taking Donald Trump up to 230 in the Electoral College.
Yeah, so it's a big moment for Donald Trump. He was always very much needing to take this state. He wanted to secure the Sun Belt of Georgia, North Carolina, and the two states in the West, Nevada and Arizona. And then he just needs one more in the North, the Rust Belt, if you like, the Blue Wall to take. So the key strategy for Trump is now on 16 electoral college votes here in North Carolina. That's a lot. It's the second biggest of the night after Pennsylvania, the same amount as Georgia. So a major win here for Trump. Doesn't mean he's won the whole thing at all. He's still going to take one of those blue walls, but this is certainly a key part of his strategy, and he'd be quite confident. Remember, he also came here something like for 4 different rallies over the last 3 days. In fact, I was at one of them. Feels like 17 weeks ago now, but he was at 4 different rallies here in 3 days, including one on Monday morning itself. So he was desperate to get this one over the line. He'd won the state in 2020 very narrowly, won it comfortably in 2016. So this has traditionally been Trump country. It's really been his to lose, and it doesn't look indeed like he has indeed won it tonight.
Yeah, stay there, Tom. Let's get a thought from Andrew Neil on North Carolina, which, as we say, the New York Times and the Times of London is projecting for Donald Trump. So this is the first swing state that we're projecting, Andrew.
It's going to go to Trump, North Carolina, and I think Georgia will go that way too. As I say, that doesn't mean it's all over. We don't know yet. It's too early to say. We need the results from these 3 Rust Belt swing states. Kamala Harris is still in contention. But I think you have to say it is leaning Trump's way. And as the night has gone on, everything we've learned has meant it's been leaning more Trump's way, even if it's not yet decided. There have been some seismic shifts in this election. I mean, the first thing I would say is, when Mr. Trump was elected in 2016, which was quite a surprise to most people, including, I have to say, myself, you could see it perhaps as an aberration. People didn't quite know what they were letting themselves in for. And then they had 4 years of it. If they re-elect him again tonight, which looks like it's going to happen, that is an amazing statement, because they know everything about Trump now, and yet they've still decided to re-elect him. And I think one of the reasons, the exit poll in Michigan shows that Trump has a 2-to-1 lead among Hispanic voters. I mean, I'll say that again because it's so incredible. He has a 2-to-1 lead among Hispanic voters. And what the Democrats have found out the hard way is that they've taken the Black and the Hispanic vote for granted for too long and misread what it stood for. Biden-Harris opened the borders when they came to power in 2021. 10 million illegals came across, others undetected, so the figure's probably closer to 12 or 13 million. They thought that would be popular with Hispanic voters and Black voters. It's not, because Black and Hispanic voters are more likely to have minimum wage jobs that will be threatened by illegal migrants. And Trump, with, I think, some nasty language and unnecessary unpleasantness, capitalized on that. The core base of the Democratic Party, the party itself, totally misread. And this is why they're facing defeat tonight. It is a category error that they have made to such an extent that they are the fathers and mothers of this Trump victory. They are the ones that have made it possible, against the odds, for Donald Trump to be re-elected. For consequences for the Western world, for Europe, for the defense of the West, who knows what, for the dangers of a trade war if he slaps tariffs on almost everything being imported into America. Europe will do the same. China will do the same. That is what brought us and prolonged the Great Depression in the 1930s. But when they look in the mirror, the Democrats ought to work out how have they facilitated this. It is an appalling track record that they are guilty of tonight.
Andrew Neil, thank you very much indeed. It's so good to speak to you. Times Radio's Andrew Neil.